The regular season hands out trophies. The playoffs expose the truth. In one of the closest MVP races we've seen in years, Nikola Jokić and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander aren't just battling for a spot in the Western Conference Finals. They're fighting for the crown of the league's true alpha. Game 1 said it all. The Thunder led by 11 with just over 4 minutes left. The Nuggets looked finished. Jokic happened. A 42-point, 22-rebound masterclass. Aaron Gordon buried the dagger. And Denver flipped the script in a flash. Just when everyone crowned Jokic the MVP king, SGA stormed in and flipped the script in Game 2. The Thunder blew out the Nuggets 124-92, and it wasn't even close. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Because this series isn't just about who advances, it's about who rises when it matters most. SGA versus Jokic, shot for shot, possession by possession. No clear favorite, no room for error. This isn't just the playoffs, this is the MVP debate, live and unfiltered. And history is being written right in front of us. Game 1 wasn't just a thriller, it was a warning shot. Oklahoma City came in blazing. Best record in the league, fresh legs, home court, momentum. And for 44 minutes, they looked the part. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was surgical, hitting middies, reading switches, and slicing up Denver's defense. Jalen Williams attacked the rim, Holmgren protected it, and the Thunder built an 11-point cushion with 4:20 to go. Then the wheels came off. Coach Dagno made a bold call, foul up 3 to avoid a game-tying shot, but it backfired. Denver hit their free throws, Holmgren missed his, and Aaron Gordon, ice in his veins, buried the game winner from the corner. SGA fought back with 33 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. He didn't fade. Denver just locked in. Gordon and playoff muscle memory kicked in. This wasn't a choke. It was a masterclass in closing from the reigning champs. OKC didn't play bad. They just got out-executed. That's what playoff scars do. They teach you how to survive. If Game 1 was the Joker's playground, then Game 2 was Shai's masterclass. After Nikola Jokić dropped 42 points and looked virtually unstoppable in the series opener, all eyes were on how Oklahoma City would respond. And respond, they did, with absolute fury. The Thunder came out in Game 2 looking like a completely different team. It was clear this wasn't just about evening the series. This was personal. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played like a man on a mission, delivering one of the most efficient and dominant playoff performances we've seen this year. He dropped 34 points on an absurd 11 of 13 shooting, adding 8 assists and 4 rebounds for good measure. Every move he made was calculated, every bucket a dagger. But it wasn't just SGA. Chet Holmgren made his presence felt with a 15-point, 11-rebound double-double, and Jalen Williams chipped in 17 points and 7 assists. This wasn't just a bounce back. It was a statement win. The MVP favorite Nikola Jokić was finally slowed down. After torching the Thunder in Game 1, what makes this series so rare, so incredibly electric, is that we're not just watching two elite teams fight for a shot at the finals. We're watching the actual MVP debate play out on the court. And the crazy part, it's never been this close. This isn't your typical MVP year where one player pulls away with stats, team wins, or media momentum. This is a razor-thin battle where every playoff performance could sway the narrative. Let's start with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His leap this season hasn't just been impressive, it's been seismic. We're talking about a guy averaging over 30 points per game while shooting nearly 55% from the field, leading his team to the best record in the NBA and anchoring one of the league's top defenses. That's unheard of for a guard. SGA's mastery in the mid-range, his pace control, his patience in isolation, he's a throwback and a modern star at the same time. And it's not just the numbers, it's the impact. You take Shai off this Thunder team and they're not a title contender. He's the reason OKC jumped from a fringe play-in team to the #1 seed in the West. But then there's Nikola Jokić, the two-time MVP, reigning finals MVP, and the engine behind everything Denver does. His numbers are almost absurd. 26 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists on over 58% shooting. And they don't even capture how he controls the game. His ability to slow it down, find cutters no one else sees, hit off-balance floaters, and still dominate on the boards, it's like watching a basketball savant. And when you add in the fact that Denver is the defending champ and finished second in the West, despite a brutal schedule and injuries, his case is just as bulletproof. And that's the beauty of this matchup. Both are right. SGA represents the rise of the new generation, a self-made superstar who elevated his team into a contender through relentless efficiency and poise. Jokić represents sustained greatness, a player who doesn't just post stats, but redefines what dominance looks like in today's NBA. One is chasing his first MVP, the other is trying to reclaim the throne. Game 1 didn't give us a clear MVP frontrunner, it gave us more questions. Jokic's monster night was vintage dominance, but it came against a young team still learning how to close. SGA, meanwhile, nearly stole the game despite Denver's run, holding his ground in the clutch and keeping OKC within one possession of victory. So who has the edge? Right now, it's too close to call. But what's certain is that this series will play a role in the final MVP perception, whether the media admits it or not. This MVP clash isn't just compelling because of who's involved, it matters because of when it's happening. The 2024-25 NBA season has been one of the most competitive, unpredictable, and talent-loaded seasons in recent memory. No super team domination. No clear frontrunner, just a gauntlet of elite performances night after night, with the MVP race becoming a weekly debate that never truly settled. And now, as fate would have it, the two players at the heart of that debate are meeting head-to-head on the biggest stage before the award has even been decided. Think about how rare that is. Usually, by the time we reach the conference semis, the MVP conversation is done, locked in by voter fatigue, narratives, or a runaway statistical favorite. But not this time. This season, it's different. The numbers are neck and neck. The narratives are compelling on both sides. And the voter sentiment, still up in the air. You've got one faction riding with Shai, citing team record, two-way dominance, and sheer consistency. Another group sticks with Jokic, banking on historical greatness, postseason proof, and his unmatched control over every possession. There's no wrong answer, but only one can win. Now layer in the stakes of this series. If SGA leads the Thunder past the defending champions, with home court advantage lost in Game 1 no less, that becomes the exclamation point on a historic season. It says, I didn't just put up MVP numbers, I took down the MVP himself in a 7-game war. That's legacy-building stuff. That's the kind of moment that sways voters in ways stats never could. But on the other side, if Jokic dominates and drags Denver through this series, especially if he continues to post 30-20-10 stat lines with the kind of effortless efficiency we saw in Game 1, it reinforces the idea that he never should have lost the MVP crown in the first place, that this isn't just a great player, it's an all-time one, in his prime, making his case with postseason excellence, not just regular season flash. And don't forget the context of what each player represents. SGA is the future, the young superstar who took the long road, development, patience, hard work, and turned OKC into a juggernaut. He's carrying not just a team, but a city starving for a title. Jokic is the present, the reigning king who's already climbed the mountain, but refuses to let go of his throne. He doesn't chase flash or headlines, he just dominates, quietly, brutally. From a tactical standpoint, this series is a masterclass in contrasting philosophies. Speed and switchability versus precision and post dominance. Oklahoma City's identity is built on versatility, youth, and elite perimeter defense. They switch nearly everything, throw multiple bodies at the ball, and use their length to create chaos in the passing lanes. That's how they overwhelmed opponents all season. But against a team like Denver, especially with a player like Nikola Jokić, it's not enough to be fast or long. You have to be disciplined. That discipline broke down at the worst possible moment. Mark Daniels' decision to go small and switch everything late left Holmgren isolated on an island against Jokic, and Denver lived off that mismatch. Jokic read every switch, waited for the double, then either hit the open shooter or calmly punished single coverage with a flurry of moves that turned the paint into his personal workspace. OKC didn't have an answer, and it exposed one of their few weaknesses. They don't have a big body who can absorb Jokic's physicality without fouling or giving up deep position. Offensively, OKC's system is built around SGA's ability to collapse defenses and force rotations. They don't rely heavily on pick and rolls. Instead, they use motion and spacing to create gaps for Shai to exploit. But Denver countered by throwing multiple looks, late help from the weak side, stunting from the corners, and using Aaron Gordon as a versatile on-ball defender whose length and strength gave SGA problems down the stretch, cutting off driving lanes and forcing him into tough shots with the clock winding down. For OKC to bounce back, they'll need more movement without the ball. Jalen Williams and Lou Dort have to be more decisive as secondary playmakers, and Chet Holmgren needs to be more aggressive looking for his shot, not just as a trailer, but in pick-and-pop actions where he can draw Jokic away from the rim. Daniel might also have to consider staggered lineups to keep a fresh, physical defender on Jokic, possibly using Kenrich Williams more for short bursts of physicality. On the Denver side, Michael Malone's adjustments were subtle but brilliant. He didn't just ride Jokic, he maximized spacing around him. By keeping cutters active and shooters ready, he prevented OKC from loading up the paint. And Murray's decision-making, even in a lower-scoring night, kept OKC honest. If he gets rolling, Denver's offense becomes unguardable. This series might come down to execution in the margins. Who wins the non-Jokic minutes? Can OKC's bench survive without SGA anchoring every possession? Can Denver keep winning the rebounding battle and generate second chances? The answers to those questions will determine not just who advances, but whose MVP case gets the final stamp of legitimacy. The legacy implications of this series go far beyond just playoff advancement. For Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, taking down the reigning MVP and leading a young, overachieving OKC squad to the finals would immediately cement his place among the league's elite. It would mark the moment when a star became a superstar, carrying a team to new heights while proving he can thrive under pressure. It's more than just a finals appearance, it's the ultimate validation of his MVP candidacy and the beginning of a new era for the Thunder. For Jokic, another finals run would solidify his status as a modern-day great, further defining his already extraordinary legacy. But more importantly, a third MVP would give him a place in history alongside the very best, cementing his place as one of the most dominant players in the NBA's rich history. And with the stakes so high in this series, Jokic is not just playing for another MVP. Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button if you're loving this series, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be breaking down every game, every shift in momentum, and every narrative twist as this heavyweight clash unfolds.